I'm Andy Hafen. I'm running for mayor of Henderson. I was born and raised in Henderson. I attended elementary, junior high, and high schools there. Graduated from basic high school and then went on to UNLV and graduated from UNLV in 1976 with a Bachelor of Science degree in business administration, and my major was accounting. I worked for the FBI for 4 years while I was going through college, and then after graduating, I had an opportunity to go to work for Sunrise Hospital in their accounting department. I worked there for about a year and a half when an opportunity came to go to work for Metro PD. I served on the Metropolitan Police Department's Special Investigations Unit until, for 23 years, retiring in 2002. I was first elected to the City of Henderson City Council in 1987 when the population was less than 50,000. And I have served 22 years, and Henderson's population now is right at 270,000.
Thank you. Amanda Cyphers.
Amanda Cyphers, candidate for Henderson Mayor, a native Nevadan. I've been married for 17 years. I'm an adoptive mother. I was on the City Council, served for 12 years, and have taken 2 years off to pursue other paths and to spend time with my family. I'm running for mayor because I was here during the good times, and I feel it's my responsibility to come back and to see us through the tough times.
Thank you. Michael Mayberry.
Is it okay?
Yeah, it was big.
What?
A bio, sir.
My name is Mike Mayberry, and I also am a native Nevadan. Was born and raised in Las Vegas. I went to Bishop Gorman High School, and I know that there's this perception about Bishop Gorman High School that all the rich kids went there. I was one of the poor kids that went there. My mom was a nurse. My dad was a highway patrolman, died when I was young. But fortunately, my mom took care of all the valedictorians, so that she made a deal with them that if I worked when I was 12, I could go to Gorman. So I actually worked my way through high school before I got into college. I did go to UNLV and graduate from UNLV. I moved to Henderson when I became a young man. Got on the police department, did 29 years on the police department. The last 6, I was the chief of police. In the interest of brevity, I'll just leave it at that. I'm running for mayor and hoping to get your endorsement.
Charles Sippen.
Thank you very much. I'm Richard Sippen. I am not a native Nevadan, but I am proud where I grew up. I was born in San Diego, California. I grew up in a southern suburb called Chula Vista, and I lived on a street filled with extraordinary men. My father served in the United States Army, 1943 to 1946. My neighbor 2 doors down, Mr. Sato, came out of a relocation camp, served in the United States Army. And lastly, Harold Spear Young, World War I veteran. He was in a group called the Lost Battalion. You may have heard of it. In any event, I was raised and educated in Chula Vista through high school. Due to financial constraints, there was no consideration of going to a private school for college. I went to the University of California at Berkeley, which was the best state school that I could get into. Did 4 years there, came back to San Diego, went to the University of San Diego School of Law, did 3 years there. Practiced for a year in San Diego, and had a classmate who had clerked for Judge Adelier Guy, and he had passed the bar, and Judge Guy was looking for a successor law clerk. I ended up being that successor law clerk. I had passed the California bar in the first attempt in 1985. I took the Nevada bar in 1987, passed it on the first attempt. I've been in practice as an attorney in Clark County since 1987. I have lived in Henderson, Nevada for 12 years. I've been married for 11 years. I have a 9-year-old son. The reason why I chose to run was essentially because at the time there were 2 candidates on the city council, one former city council person, And it occurred to me that there ought to be a voice for the average citizen and the taxpayer. And I filed on the second to last day, and then Chief Mayberry filed on the last day. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The first question, go with Rhonda Kennedy.
All right, my question goes to Mike Mayberry. You said your father was a highway patrolman,
He was.
and you're in Nevada.
He was. He was part of the first Nevada Highway Patrolman. I think he was like the 6th or 7th one hired.
And your father, he passed away. Was it in the line of duty or?
No, he just passed away at home. Yeah.
That was my question.
I have a question for Amanda Cyphers.
Okay, all right, great.
In a Las Vegas Sun article dated January 21st, 2004, there was a huge question on eminent domain that faced the city council. Then City Councilman Jack Clark told residents that the city would use the change of eminent domain only to go after rundown houses that detract from the neighbors. How would you use eminent domain?
Well, my 12 years that I served on the city council, I've never really had to utilize eminent domain. And I think the way that we've written the codes when I was there, it's very, very strict and rare for the opportunity to utilize it. Obviously, eminent domain is used for if there is a public good, you can't take away someone's property for someone else's private use. That can't happen. And when we approved the redevelopment area in downtown, a lot of people thought that the mayor and the council would be riding on bulldozers the next day taking down their homes, and it wasn't so. Because we want them to stay, we want them to reinvest. So that hasn't been utilized, but we were having some problems, unless my memory serves wrong, we were having problems with vagrancy and homelessness that was taking over some of the areas of concern. And when we weren't receiving communication from specific owners, and we have an outcry from the neighborhood that there's families and children that are being impacted, you know, those are some of the solutions you need to look at, is what can we do for the overall good, but not to take away from someone to give to someone.
Even if the homes are run down?
What's the definition of run down? I guess that's the question, because
Run
what might
down,
be run down is
they're just boarded windows, maybe a fence is onto the side and weeds are all over the place. Maybe they have their bathroom sink in their front yard, stuff like that.
But even in a situation like that where there can be a rundown home that's been vacated, abandoned, that is an issue, does not mean that you have to utilize eminent domain. You can go through the steps of fixing that hazard, whether it's boarding up or raising the property without taking that property from whoever it might be. So those are really two different issues.
Thank you.